Welcome to the Toy Rewind Podcast with your hosts, the Brothers Newland. Now, let's talk toys.
And hello, I am Michael.
I'm John.
And I'm Andrew, and welcome to the Toy Rewind Podcast. Just a little place where John, Michael, and myself like to sit back, talk about some toy lines from our childhood, and give you a history lesson on how those toy lines possibly ended up in your household. This week, we're rewinding back to 1983. It's a good year. It's a good year.
Yeah. Just by the way, that sounded really funny when you said my name first.
I looked up, I saw you, and yeah, it did. I totally agree. Mom and Dad are laughing right now, by the way.
Probably.
All right, so back to this. We're rewinding back to 1983 to talk about a small toy line that was released by Tonka and Bandai that would set the stage for Hasbro's Transformers. Just Transformers releasing just the year after this. That's right. We're finally going to do it. After a whole year from last time we talked about Transformers, we're talking about GoBots, the amazing toys that set up Transformers.
Mighty robots, mighty vehicles.
Mighty robots, mighty vehicles. I sure hope Sully's listening to this because we're going to give him a lot of information. I know he's probably cursing right now, like, you stupid GoBots. But
I said before the show started, you asked about my notes. I said, well, the notes aren't quite as interesting as the Transformers notes, and really the GoBots are about the same way. They're not as interesting as Transformers.
They're not. They're kind of there. So, but we're going to talk about them because we can't get through all the history of all the things that we know, and we're going to talk about without talking about GoBots.
Yeah, we're going to get it out of the way.
So yeah, we'll talk about this. John, before we do that, let's do your thing.
Alrighty. So check our website out over at toyrewindpodcast.com. You can also check us out over at crossthestreamsmedia.com. Email us at toyrewindpodcast@gmail.com. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch. It's all Toy Rewind Pod. Facebook and YouTube, you can look us up by typing in Toy Rewind Podcast. I love that little drink you got there, Michael. Nice little logo on there. Andrew's is missing the border on his, so is mine. So little
That's
things we might have to talk to the people that gave them to us,
We got to talk about it. We can't put these out there on the market until we've tested them and made sure they're going to be perfect.
And then, if you want to play around and play a game as you're listening to us, you can always check out our podcast bingo over at podcastbingo.com/toy rewind.
Yep, check that out. Lots of fun. Get you a bingo card. Play bingo with us. We've already got some shout outs to Mom and Dad. So there's some bingo stuff for you. And today is National Sticker Day. Did you guys know that?
I did. I found out when I saw Ed's post.
Yeah. Shout out to Ed when he put the post.
I didn't know that, but look at all
those stickers.
Yeah,
John's
like
got
my little
stickers
book. Megan got me a book together.
That makes stickers. Nice. You need to add more.
I got plenty of these to give.
Mine are in a Funko box. So yeah, your stickers make a lot more sense.
Megan just got these together for me too. So,
well, here's the thing: do a bingo card, send it in to us if or share about this episode, GoBots specifically, and one of us will get in touch with you and get your information and send you a sticker. So also, you may see these little pins out and about the world. Yours is upside down, John. There you go. I know a few people have started to get them. So if you see them, be like, hey, I listen to Toy Rewind too. How do I get one of those? So you just contact us. We'll help you get one in some form or fashion. So do that.
I got a pin.
You got a pin.
One of my
Is that
buddies from
is
the
that?
Average Nerds gave me this pin.
Oh, I thought that was your. They gave it to you at work because you're so average. Michael.
No.
Yeah, I really wish I would have taken some pins and some stickers with me to my trip that me and Megan took over the weekend. But of course, I did not. So, and then we went to a collectible shop.
Yeah, speaking of your trip, John, which is why everybody's wondering why this episode didn't come out on Thursday, but it came out on a Friday. So John was out of town, Michael was working, and I was working. There's too much stuff. We're recording a day late, $1 short, but guess what? You still get an episode all about GoBots. It's just less time between the two episodes, so you get another one. That's how you look at it.
Yep.
Don't worry, we're still here. We're still sticking around. So, all right. Yeah, and there's going to be possibly some changes coming, not necessarily to the episodes, to the podcast, but just with us. So stick around, follow those social medias, and see as we tweak some things within the Toy Rewind universe. That sound about right? Yeah, that sounds about right.
Sounds about right.
All right, well, let's talk about GoBots because there's lots of mediocrity here that we need to talk about and see exactly how these things got. So, Michael, are you ready to rewind and get into it?
Let's go. All right, so GoBots. It's not quite as interesting as Transformers, but like I said, their slogan was "Mighty Robots, Mighty Vehicles." So actually, let's go back to 1982. So 1982. GoBots started out as a line of small robots that transformed into vehicles. These were released by Poppy. It was a division of Bandai in Japan. So these were called Machine Robo, is what they called them over there. And also known as the 600 series because they cost 600 yen in Japan. So, but there was a little bit different in theirs than what we knew them as here in the U.S. These were human-piloted mechas and were separated into two different factions, friendly or enemy. And they were given just simple names that coincided with the order they were released. So the first one that came out was MR01, is what Bandai called it, or Poppy. So MR01 is actually Psykill, the leader of the bad guys. And then the second one came out. His name was Tank. He was a tank. His name, that Tank was his U.S. name, but in Japan when it came out, he was MR02. Then there was a jet that came out at MR03, and you get the gist. It just keeps going. MR, which is Machine Robo, and then whatever number. So that's what they were known as in Japan. Their names. So. These were really good sellers over in Japan. So Bandai tried to bring this line into the U.S. market under the name Machine Man. But the problem with bringing it over here to North America is, and it's like the Transformers story from last year. You can bring those over here, but there's no backstory. There's no mythology. There's nothing to it. I mean, they had generic names, the MR01, MR02, MR03. There's nothing really to draw your imagination with. So it kind of failed, and it didn't last very long here in the U.S. So in 1983,
I don't know why MR01 that makes complete sense. I could really connect with that.
Yeah. Whatever. So in 1983, Bandai partnered with Tonka to try again, and they had the help of Hanna-Barbera because they came up. They're going to get a cartoon and try to get some kind of story created with this line. So they partnered with Tonka, and the first wave was exactly like the Machine Men that they brought in. It even carried the same MR designation and year of manufacture. The only difference was the packaging said GoBots on it. So Tonka had was the one that came up with these names. So MR01 it was a motorcycle. He became Psykill. And then Tank became Tank. The MR03, which was a jet, was Fitor, Fitor. And then the next one you had Coptor. Then you had a Loco, which was like a locomotive. There was a space shuttle. His name was Spacey. They had some questions. They're just the simple names, but they came up with names anyway.
At least they had some names.
Right.
They had names, yeah. But you had Turbo, which was a supercar. You had Buggy Man, who was a dune buggy. Dumper was a dump truck. Pumper was a pumper truck. Dozer was a bulldozer. Hands Cuff was a Toyota Crown S1110, which was a Japanese police car.
Okay.
So it's hands cuff.
I was like, how's that got anything to do with handcuffs if it's a car?
It's a police car over in Japan. It had a garbage truck. His name was Flytrap. So that was probably the most unique name out of all of them.
Still works.
But it didn't. You go back to the Transformers and they've got really cool names, and I mean some of them are kind of ridiculous, but these right here are really, really. I mean, they're simple. Well, let's see. What do we call the dump truck? Let's call them
Dumper.
Dune buggy, Buggy Man. It's just kind of weird. There was an auger thing, a vehicle with the auger on it. His name was Screwhead. So okay. I mean, it's just different. So. Anyway, but that Tonka had come out and named these, gave them real names, so the kids could actually have some kind of name and come up with their own imagination and stuff like that. So
I like Slicks. Slicks is a good name.
Yeah, Slicks.
I mean, he's probably got like racing slicks on.
Yeah,
so it's a racing car, so I think that would make sense. Sparky, spoiler, really spoiler.
Yeah. I mean, there's another jet plane, F-16 Falcon. His name was Heat Seeker. He did have a Corvette. His name was Stinger.
I just saw Stinger.
A VW Bug. His name is Bugsy. I mean, it's their version of Bumblebee, which was a VW Bug. But at least Bumblebee is more of like a real name than Bugsy.
What about the tank called Treads?
Yeah.
Tailpipe. Okay. Tailpipe black.
Yeah, you can almost guess what they are by the name,
Yeah, here, I'll give you one. You tell me what it is. Road Ranger.
He's a truck, isn't he?
Jeep.
Well, we would also refer to him as rip-off Optimus Prime.
Oh, Road Ranger, yeah. He's blue and red, isn't he? Yeah.
I had to pull that one up.
How would that be a ripoff if he was the original?
Hey, we're not there yet.
These did come out a year before Transformers did.
What about Pumper? Pumper
is like a pump truck.
It looks kind of like a fire engine pump truck thing.
Yeah.
Like here's one for you, John. You should get Mr. Ranger. Or Night Ranger. It's Night Ranger.
Night Ranger.
I think you'll like this one, John.
The Knight Rider looking one.
No, it's a police motorcycle.
Police motorcycle.
Yeah. It would go well with your cop stuff.
Right.
Yeah, they had there was a like Pumper. He's a water pump truck is what he is for fire engine.
Okay, as cars, these actually look kind of cool. I mean
they do. They look like simple little cars.
They transform into robots that are very rudimentary robots, but
right.
Yeah, they're simple. There's not much. I think that's why I liked Transformers better because they're more articulate.
There's more to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you pull the arms out, the arms actually have some movement to it. Whereas these, the only movement that these have, the legs don't move, and the regulars on these, the legs don't move. They just pull out and they stand there. And the only thing that moves is they have shoulder where they move at the shoulder. That's it.
So it's just.
So
we should do
Yeah.
that for a whole day. Just
yeah, here's a
let me give you your groceries.
yeah. But yeah, they're just all different kind of. I was looking at some more of these names. There was what was this? Where'd he go?
You think you could cook like that, John?
The Army Jeep. His name is Jeeper Creeper.
Excuse me.
There was a submarine called Dive.
That one was so nice. They named it twice.
Yeah, they named it twice. So,
Scooter.
but yeah, there was just different. It's just weird the names that they call these things.
All right,
so.
yeah, all right. Let's
So Tonka decided to make these figures sentient. Like I said, the Bandai version of them that they had over in Japan, they were mechas. So they had the storyline in theirs was there was a person that actually got into them and directed or controlled the robot part. So Tonka said, no, we want our robots to be living robots. So that's what they did. So they brought these over. The mythology was that they were sentient rather than mecha. And then they named the two factions as Guardians and Renegades. So you had the good guys and the bad guys, Guardians and Renegades. Tonka also gave the figures real names, and not letter and numbers like we just talked about. So GoBots hit the toy shelves 1 year before Hasbro's Transformers. The bulk of the line consisted of the basic figures, which were 2 to 3 inches on average, which most of these were the size of the Transformers mini bots, like Bumblebee and Warpath and all those that are in that smaller frame. And then they did have a larger figure that were 5 to 6 inches. These were called Super GoBots. There wasn't as many of these. These are like your larger ones like Jazz and Optimus Prime and all those in those bigger forms. So
yeah.
They like Transformers. They had 2 combiners, combiner type GoBots. There was Puzzler and Monstrous. And these, like I said, the transformations are pretty simple. I mean, you pull the legs out, you twist it, and you pop a head up, and you got your arms pull out from the sides, and you have your GoBot, and then you fold the legs over and twist it again, and they connect into each other. It's not as complicated as the Transformers combiners were. So,
not at all.
Like I said, there's less detail in them. Like I said, the basic transformation on these is the regular ones is you pull the legs down, the arms pop out, and the head pops up. And that's pretty much it on these. So
let's see who's number 1.
That's Psycho.
Where's he at? I'm trying to find. There he is. Okay, so he's a motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
This picture that I found, I was going to pull it up. Yeah,
and
so
he's the leader of the Renegades.
Cycle has 3 little steps to basically transform him. Actually, yeah, barely even 3 steps here.
Yeah,
because it just goes that quick. So
yeah, you just fold him. I mean, he just folds up, and his arms hold on to the front wheel, and his legs hold on the back wheel, and he kind of folds up. And you unfold them, and so it just they're just simple transformations.
If we look at Hand's cuff, here we'll see how many he has, because I figure like he's got maybe a couple extras. Nope, shows the same amount. So it doesn't show all the little steps, but you just grab the top and the bottom of the arm, slide towards the legs, aligning bumper, push arms in, bend robot back at knees and under the back of the car.
Yeah.
So bam, 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 you got a robot. Bam, 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 you got a car.
Yeah.
There's not 75 steps.
Yeah. I got some cheap little Transformers several years back that they're like a new line of Transformers that came out. I probably had them about 10 years now, and they transform similar to this, but they're the cheaper version of Transformers. So you just fold out the legs, pull the arms out, and pop the head up.
Here's one that shows a little bit more. This is Scratch. So he's a 4x4 truck. Shows it a little more detail about how they transform, and this is on the back of the card. So easy to show this, as some of the Transformers not so easy to show their transforming. So
yeah, the new, I've done a few of the Studio Series Transformers, and they transform just similar to the original G1 Transformers. And the booklet that comes with that has like 20 steps to transform it. These have 3 or 4 steps.
Yeah.
So it's nothing like that. So, but the Tonka did design their own toys for the line, which included a Guardian Command Center and a Renegade Thruster playset. So there's a couple of playsets with this. There was also a motorized dinosaur creature named Zod. So not to be confused, not to be confused with Superman Zod. Really, if you've seen this Zod dinosaur looking thing move around, it looks like a worm jerking around. It's just it doesn't transform. It makes this noise when the motorized part starts, and it kind of folds up and pops back out, folds up, and it kind of moves like an inchworm kind of looking thing. So it's kind of weird. Some of these toys from the GoBots line are kind of questionable on whether or not to be GoBots Transformers.
I just ran across a Zod, and that's it.
Yeah.
It looks like I'll pull this one up as we're. Yeah, it looks like it would just do the worm on the ground.
And
yeah,
he looks like something that we may have had. I remember something similar to that. We may have had one of these. I'm trying to think, but yeah, he's on wheels and he stretches out, and then he clicks back up, folds back up, and that's his moving motion, like an inchworm is what it is.
That's what he looks like.
But he may be their version of Grimlock, I guess, but he doesn't transform. So
he's there. If Grimlock was a worm, he's their version. Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah. So, but there was also 2 Power Warriors in this line. You had one Guardian and one Renegade. The Guardian Power Warrior was named Courageous, and the Renegade was named Grungy. These were spaceship GoBots that had additional power suits, and you hooked the power suits up to them, and they became a larger robot. There was a 3rd warrior that was shown in the Tonka catalog, but was never released. His name was Nemesis. So, there was also a large playset called Gobatron Fortress, which is the name of the planet that they're from is Gobatron. So
Gobatron.
Yep. This was also shown in the catalogs but never released. So this was another thing that they were going to bring out, what they didn't. So a couple of things that also came out with the GoBot. You got a picture of it there?
Yeah, price on that one, John. I was looking for a price too.
Yeah, this one's it looks like it's $24.99 in this
Gobatron, $24.99 in 1983.
Yeah.
You're looking at $70, $69.95.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's got a price when it wasn't even.
I'm just saying this is what this one says.
Yeah, that's what that says. So what catalog is that?
That's the that's not Gobotron. That is what I say it was.
It
This
says
is the enemy headquarters, or is the enemy headquarters?
It just says it's the headquarters. It's not Gobotron.
Yeah.
So they're from Gobotron.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was either the Guardian Command Center or the Renegade Thruster set.
That's the Renegade Thruster set.
That's the Renegade one. Okay. Yeah, $24.99. So
it's not bad.
Zod was $16.99 or something like that, wasn't it? On that picture. So
Yes.
that's kind of expensive for that little toy that just
$47.56 today. Nope.
No,
Sorry,
all it
GoBot.
does is just inch its way along. And it kind of snaps. If you watch it, it snaps back and forth. So it's not really too
he
smooth.
was electronic, so
Yeah, it's still not
going to cost more than just the regular. They had to have batteries and stuff.
The batteries must have been included back then for it to be that much.
Let's see here.
There was another line that Tonka came out with that they crossed over.
Sold separately.
Yeah, sold separately. They were called Rock Lords. Really what these were, and we have this on our list too to talk about later on. But the Rock Lords were actually just big boulders that transformed into robots. So
yeah, I remember those. I think we had some of those for sure.
I think we had some of those, yeah.
So if you're watching the live stream, just ignore the ads here. But yeah, we have a Gobotron. What the heck is this thing doing?
I told you it snaps back and forth like that.
And it falls off the table. This thing is weird. The motion. The person is trying to snap the little thing on the bottom of it, but it is rather large. You can see, like, here's a good shot of it with
a couple handfuls.
It's a good size. So
yeah,
very interesting. But yeah, I'll stick with.
And we had one. I don't know if we had that one or something similar. It just rings a bell that just looking at it when I watched the video of it moving around. I said that looks familiar. So I found had one of those.
I found one of those for $8, sold for $8 just recently. So
that's about right.
I wonder if I can find one now that's about that price and get it.
We can. There was a collector's case that they had out with this as well. There was boomers. There's two different boomers. These were motorized vehicles that had a simple one-button transformation. You hit the button, the upper body pops up, and it fired a ball. And the ball had two little pieces that you click together. You could put a message in it. It was called a message ball, but you could shoot it across to somebody else and put a message in it or something. So, so that's something else that wasn't really a transformer, but I guess it kind of did because the body would pop up and it had a little missile launcher which would shoot the little ball. So there was also towards the end of the line there was also called Dread launchers. These were never released in Japan. But they split into two different modes. So you had they pretty much had a flying object and then a carrier. Like Chaos was a jet, and then like a little truck platform that could carry the jet. And then you had Revolt, which was about the same thing, but instead of a jet, it looks like a little hawk looking thing. Or eagle, and then Trader was another one, and he had his flying object was like
it looks like a bee or a wasp
or something like that. Yeah. So that was something else. You had the two that transformed into one robot, and then they split into two separate things. Let's see. In Europe, these were issued. They were called Ultrabots under the Robo Machine banner. Another thing for this. In other countries over in Europe and stuff, they were called robo machines. Australia, they kept the name as Robo Men or Machine Men, is what they called them in Australia. So they weren't GoBots everywhere. Just here in North America, they were GoBots. But they kept different names in other places. So.
What'd you say the original name of them was?
Machine Man.
Machine Man. That's right.
Machine Man was the original that they brought here to the U.S. that didn't work. Yeah.
So and they called them the MR the 600 series. So it would be kind of interesting if these were the 349 series.
Yeah, that's what regular retail was. $3.49 for one of the regulars here in North America.
349 back in 1983. That's only $9, $9.77.
That's not too bad. Yeah,
that's not too bad. I wouldn't.
And they were price ranged with, like I said, the mini bots, Transformers mini bots were about the same price range, and then like I said, the bigger line was the Super GoBots were price ranged with the others. Let's see, what else do I have? Yeah, so another thing real quick, they had power machines. These were only released in North America. These were radio controlled robots that could traverse uneven ground without falling over. So just the way they had the feet and legs designed, they were radio controlled robots, so they could walk across. You can take them outside and walk across the yard or something like that, and they won't fall over.
Cool.
So from 1983 to 1987, there was about 100 different figures that were released in the GoBot line. The basic was, like I said, $3 to $4. The Super GoBots for $10 to $12. The cartoon series that Hanna-Barbera did, it was called Challenge of the GoBots.
Yep.
It actually first aired Saturday, September 8th, 1984. This aired 9 days before the Transformers did on the Monday after next. So, like I said, they were the first out. They were out a year out before Transformers. And then even the cartoon came out a little over a week before the Transformers cartoon came out.
So we know that these came out before Transformers. Before Transformers, which we talked about last year when we talked about Transformers, because everybody assumes GoBots are the ripoff of Transformers.
Yeah.
And we know they're not. These technically came out before. They were probably working on them at the same time. Obviously Transformers are the better, bigger line.
Yeah.
So, I gotta say these are actually kind of cool. I kind of like these. Some of them at least. They don't compare to Transformers, but alone, had we not gotten Transformers, these are actually kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, the Transformers, the articulation, the detail they went into those is a lot better than the GoBots. The cartoon, there was a little more thought and storyline into the cartoon. It was. And you can tell the styles of the cartoons. Was it Sunbow that did the Transformers cartoon compared to the Hanna-Barbera style of the GoBots. We all know Hanna-Barbera, watching Flintstones and Yogi Bear and all those, growing up with those. They did have Thundar the Barbarian and Space Ghost and all that too, but you could tell the styles were that Hanna-Barbera style. So there was a big difference in the cartoon animation too. So and then the Transformers, the mythology for them, the story background on all these, they came out every figure in the Transformer line had a backstory. They went in depth with that. Whereas the GoBots aren't. Whatever they have on a backstory is in this Challenge of the GoBots cartoon.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Transformers are by far the dominant robot car transforming toy cartoon.
Yes.
Every bit of it. But these, I would put one of these on my shelf, like if it was the right one. Oh, probably over here by Voltron. But I would put one of these, like this one. I mean, and this is they just look kind of cool.
Yeah.
They have that now. The transforming and the way the robots look, maybe not as much, but like this has got some pretty decent detail, especially for like $377 back in 1983.
And the car form of the GoBots, it looks great. But when you turn it into the robot form, it just looks cheesy.
It looks too much like the car still.
Yes, you still see a lot of the car. The face sculpt is not there. Most of it's just kind of, it's just a robot, like a gray face with a colored visor across for eyes.
Yeah, if you look at Stacks, and this is just the graphics. If you look at him in the background back here, you know, it looks like just the top of his cab is his eyes.
Right.
You can't even really see his actual face. Yeah,
the windshield. There's no face there.
I've been looking at the catalogs and stuff. I got this one pulled up that's got some of these are the bigger ones.
Yeah.
So Zeman right here.
Yeah, those are the big ones. Yeah.
Number 2. It just shows.
As a car, he's really cool.
Right.
And the fact that this car transforms is really cool. Now, what this car transforms into sucks.
Yeah.
Especially when you scroll down, John, and you see the Transformers at the bottom of that.
Yeah, the Transformers.
And how much cooler those are. Yes. So here's the thing. If it was only GoBots, if Transformers never came out, if it was only GoBots, these are pretty cool. If I was a Transformer collector and my mother bought me GoBots because she thought it was the same thing, yes, I would be like, man.
It's like Legos and Mega Block, right?
No. Legos and Mega Blocks, two totally separate things, and should never be referred to together in the same sentence.
Yeah,
they're building blocks.
Yeah. No,
but they're
totally
all building
agree.
blocks. It's like Transformers and GoBots are all Transformers.
These are they're cool, but not. They're like
they're not Transformer cool.
They're like C movie cool. Like they don't even be B movies.
Maybe a low B movie, but yeah,
I don't even think so. Definitely not any cult classics.
But if you like going back to the detail, the Transformers, like I said, the face, the head, the Transformers actually had, you see their mouth, their eyes, the facial parts of their face, whereas the GoBots is those that did have faces, it was just gray with like a colored visor for the eyes. Another thing that Transformers did, they had the insignias on them, which specified whether they were Decepticon or they were Autobots. They were good or bad. The GoBots don't have that, so you don't really know who is, unless you watch the cartoon, you don't know who's good and who's bad. Like I said, the Psykill is the leader of the bad guys, the Renegades, and now my mind went blank on the leader. It's the Jet. Leader 1.
Yeah, Leader 1.
Leader 1 is the leader.
Leader 1 is the leader.
Yeah. I don't know.
Let's come up with a very good name. Let's come up with a really good name. Let's call him Leader 1.
Yeah, Leader 1 is the good guy, the Guardians. Yeah. But there's nothing that tells you who's bad and who's good unless you actually sat down and watched the cartoon to see who's bad. And the cartoon revolves around 4 or 5 main figures, and then the others would just show up when Tonka needed to sell a product. They would throw one in there. So you didn't see like Transformers, you saw more than just, there was a few, but then when they started adding more to the line, you started seeing more characters in it, and some of these older ones would kind of fade out for a while and just be background characters, whereas the GoBots, you always had these the 4, which was Leader 1, Psykill, Scooter was one, and I can't remember the other one. So that there was, there was the 4 or 5 main ones that they would show. So um, it definitely doesn't compare to Transformers. So,
what do you have, Michael? Do you have anything on the power suits or the combiners?
The combiners, they are, so you had one of the bad guy, the bad guy combiner was monstrous. You had 6, and they both had 6 vehicles that kind of transformed into the combiner. So you had and monstrous was more like creatures. You had fangs, fright face, gorejaw, heart attack, south claw, weird wing, and then they all formed into monstrous.
This thing is the coolest thing ever.
So that's probably the best looking one of all these GoBots is monstrous, because he actually looks like a
It looks
evil
like a Power
monster
Rangers
robot.
Yeah, he's got a face. You've got the combining factor. This is cool. I really, really dig this. Puzzler
Was made of crossword, jigsaw, pocket, rube, tic tac, and zigzag, which are all kind of puzzle games.
But they're all cars.
They're all cars, and they form into Puzzler.
This is kind of cool.
It reminds me of the Voltron stuff, as we talked about some of the different.
Well, that's kind of what the combiners do. Yeah, it's just like
Voltron's a lot cooler looking.
Right.
How tall are these things? These are from 1986.
They're probably about 7-8 inches tall.
Did I say 1 foot?
It says 1 inch.
1 inch. I was like,
that's not right. I don't feel like that's right.
No, that's not right.
Tiny. That's not right. And then the power suit.
The power suit, yeah, that's just got the it's the 2 spaceships. You had Courageous and Grungy, and then you added the stuff to them to make them into a bigger robot and change the robot into a bigger robot. Is all it is, and it's just adding extra arms and legs to them is pretty much what it is.
But this one, the power suits and the combiners there are the robot wise the coolest looking things that they have here.
Yeah, and I don't really, to me, the power suits aren't really that. They look similar to.
They do. They look.
They look similar to something else.
This looks like Power Rangers to me.
Yeah, or what was the one before that came out that we talked about?
With
the Godzilla stuff.
Yeah. Oh, not the Shogun Warriors.
Like. Yeah, Shogun. He looks like a Shogun Warrior.
He does. He looks like a Shogun Warrior.
Yeah, is what these guys look like.
I think that this monstrous combiner is probably the coolest looking one because it's got all the details. It actually looks. It's pretty cool. John, have you looked on eBay yet? Have you found one of these? Because I actually want one of these, I think.
I'm actually looking now, so.
I actually think I want one of these because this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if you had them in your notes or anything because, I know the combiners are 86. And then the power
I mean, I mentioned them, but we didn't go too in depth with it. Yeah. So, let's see what else. Oh, going back to the Challenge of the GoBots cartoon, it was 65 episodes, 1 season. That's what that was. There was also a Wendy's promotion that came out with 6 vehicles, and these were even cheaper, because they're like Happy Meal toys, so they're even cheaper than the regular GoBots. So you had Beamer, which was a little sports car. You had Breeze, which was a Chinook helicopter. Guide Star, which was space shuttle. Powwow, which was like a little Jeep looking thing. Skyfly looks like some kind of jet. Kind of looks like the X-Men jet, whatever. kind of sort of, but it's kind of a green teal color. And then you had Oddball, which was some kind of spaceship looking thing. So, so those were the 6 for Wendy's promotion. Let's see, there was a couple of games that came out called Challenge of the GoBots. It came out for Commodore 64, Amstrad CPC, and the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. So if anybody had those, I know the Commodore 64 is a little more known than the other two. I never even heard of the other two. So
Yeah.
Game platforms, but there was a 5-issue magazine of GoBot magazine. Came out in 1987, and it ended in 1987. So GoBots lasted from 1983 to 1987.
So just a few years there before they realized that Transformers has taken over and are the superior robot.
Yeah.
So.
And Tonka, Tonka's more about their dump
little yellow trucks,
and their trucks like that. So, and not really this. So I think that's probably why they didn't put too much thought into it. But then again, they brought it over from Bandai, so it's Bandai's fault. So, a couple of things real quick. They did have the name was licensed out to Arco, which came up with a few little transforming things that were all plastic, and then they had a lot of little stickers in them. You had Binoc, which was a binoculars. You had a cap pistol, which was a little cap gun. You had cap rifle and roboscope, which was a little rifle, and then roboscope was the scope on the gun. But to put it on the gun, it looks like he was just hanging on to it. There was a destroyer, which was like a little battleship looking thing. You had row gun, cap rifle, and then you had squirt gun. They also had, I don't see him on here, but there was also a desk bot, which was a robot that had 9 different desk type things that you can use on your desk at work or whatever. So, and the details on these were just stickers. That was it. The face, when the robot formed, looked at the face, it was all decals, little stickers. So it wasn't anything cool or anything. So it was all plastic, cheap plastic pieces. So, and that's pretty much GoBots, in a nutshell.
Couple things that I've learned about these. This website, just things that you didn't know about GoBots, or that you probably didn't know about GoBots. Number 8, they're not actually robots. So if you watch the cartoon, it explains how they're actually organic aliens, identical to humans. But after an asteroid collides with Gobatron, they were forced to put their brains into robot bodies. So the fact that it says they're not actually robots, they are actually robots because the bodies are robots. So that makes no sense at all. So that's dead. This is one, and I assume we would talk about this eventually. They are actually Transformers now, since Hasbro bought Tonka.
Hasbro bought Tonka in 1991 and put GoBots into the Transformer universe. But the only issue that they had was they had the rights to the name and the media and everything except for the actual toy figure itself, which was leased from Bandai. So they couldn't get a hold of the molds. They couldn't do anything. So you won't ever see these.
You won't see them together, but
you won't see these again.
Names
put out again with any Transformer line because there's no way, because it's all Bandai property.
So the way that I see this is Optimus Prime is Clark Griswold, and Leader 1 is Cousin Eddie. That's they're related, but nobody really wants to talk about how they're related. And then Leader 1 shows up in an old RV.
the way Hasbro put it was these were from a far, 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 far planet outside the Transformer universe.
There you go. There you go. The cartoon. Many of the people that voice Transformers in the cartoon also voice some of the GoBots. So already some mixtures going on. Yeah, those are the biggest ones that I saw that were just some interesting facts, just to share with you guys. Interesting things. We need to let's go ahead and rank these suckers. I actually would like to do this. I want to guess your rankings. So this will be
guess our rankings.
This will be the 6th one on our lists. Okay. And I just want to guess and see how correct I am. I'll go first since I know what mine is.
You're going to guess yours.
And then I'll go John and then Michael. So we'll go in reverse order, and I'm going to guess before you tell me what it is. So these currently on our list right now are number 1. I actually think these are pretty cool. They really suck, but they're also really cool. Like if you don't GoBots just have to be happy that they're not going to go up against Transformers. There's no possible way because they fail at every possible way. But compared to the other things that are on here, I really think these are cool. These are going number 1. John, these will go number 3 for you.
I was thinking 4.
You were thinking 4. Okay, so I was toying with the trolls. I couldn't decide which one was going to be above, but I was thinking 3 for you. So you're going number 4?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you'll go number 4. Michael, they go number 1 for you.
They're number 1 for me. Here, yeah.
So good.
You guessed that right. Yes.
After 71 episodes or 70 full episodes, I'm not far off on guessing your stuff here. So, are you in the same boat as me on that, Michael? They're cool. They're just not.
They're really cool. They're and I like them better than what we have on here right on the list so far. They are, they're not Transformer cool, but they're cool. And I don't have anything on this list that's Transformer cool yet. So we hadn't got to so we only have 5 items on there right now.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean,
not hard to place it.
But you're putting them at
actually,
John.
1. Actually, John, I will tell you. So I just pulled up the admin part where I actually ranked these in the back end, and I had actually put these at number 4 for you,
underneath trolls.
So I was wrong. I guessed correctly earlier.
Yeah,
and
cool.
Yeah, it's something me and John don't see right now. So we'll take your word at it.
You want me to show you?
Well, you probably already fixed it by now anyway. If you didn't,
I did. I already fixed it.
Well, it was already at 4, so he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna leave it there. It's already there," or he fixed it. 1,
yeah. So, all right.
I think they're cool. I just, me
Yeah.
with my board games, Mad Ball's just kind of,
Yeah, out of the 5 that we have on here, which was Trolls, Milton Bradley board games, Mego, Eagle Force, Mad Balls, and Popples. Out of those 5, to me, GoBots screams more what I played with, my nostalgia and stuff. So that's why they go number 1. And I'm sure we had I don't remember which ones we had. I'm pretty sure we had that Zod at one time because it looks very familiar when I got to watching that video. But the other GoBots, I'm sure I had a couple of those too growing up. So
I don't know. I just think they are cool. Like I said, and I'll tell you this with every breath I can. They're not Transformer cool, but they are by themselves. You know what? These would beat RoboForce hands down. So they do beat some kind of robot, just not Transformers.
Yeah.
So they have that to look forward to in their life as a Transformer 5th cousin. I did see some collectible wise, very interesting. So you can get the regular versions out of packaging that are in decent condition for anywhere from 11 or 5 to like $20. not very expensive for those.
Yeah, they're not too up there on price.
You can there. I did see one. It's a GoBots Guardian Robot Fighter sealed from 1985. The card is actually not in great condition, but there's something about this one. It's because it's running at $300. I don't know what it is. If it's very like a
Which
super
one you said it was?
exclusive.
Who is it?
It's Guardian Robot Fighter.
Oh, Guardian Robot. Okay.
Bolt 68. Bolt.
Okay.
So I don't know what he was. I did find. Oops, I just closed it. The monstrous combiner. Did you find one, John?
8 1/4 inches tall.
For which one?
Monstrous.
For monstrous. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I was
found
thinking about
one.
8 inches. Yeah.
I found one for 134.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Okay.
A full set, 134.
Yeah, and it looked like it was in decent condition too.
Yeah.
So, you could get the power suit for about $10. The
Just
other
suit,
ones,
or did it have the robot with it? The GoBot.
it looks like it's just the suit. Looks like it's just a suit. The other ones you can get like the Zod for anywhere from all the way up to like $28, but really not expensive. $7.99. Who knows? Might not work. Obviously, batteries not included. There are quite a few on eBay, and then not many all at the same time.
Right.
Because there's not a lot of variety. There's a lot of the same kind of stuff. So very collectible if you ask me as far as prices. You're not going to be getting a lot of your money back if you're trying to flip them, but if you want to get something, drop it in your toy collection. John's probably already ordered 6 things.
Nope. Have not.
I don't know.
I spent my money last weekend.
Oh, okay.
So, couple
if
more
I ran
turtles and
if I ran across something and it was the right thing, I may pick one of these up, but I'm not out looking for anything at this point. So, all right. Well, with that, or anything else we want to add before we move on to our shout outs?
No, I think I'm all GoBot out.
Okay. I would like to do at this point, if you're still listening and your name is Sully, I would like to know, and I'll probably tweet you also to find out, what GoBots did you have? Because I know he did have some. I know he didn't like them, but he did have a couple that I think were given to him, if I recall the story correctly. So I'd like to know which ones they were. Just curious. So let's know.
Like the Mego block of Transformers.
Exactly. There you go. If you want to say that. Well, thanks for listening. It's been a minute or so. Thanks for listening. You can also check us out over on Cross the Streams Media. Unless you're listening to us there, then that's where you're listening to us. But, Spotify, all those good places. You can find all the links to our socials that John went over earlier there, also at toyrewindpodcast.com. And you can listen to all of our episodes along with finding merch, anything like that. Sorry, you cannot purchase the water bottles. Those were actually custom for us for Christmas, but maybe someday. While you're over on the CTS site, check out some of our partner podcasts that we have over there, including the Dorksmen, the SDS guys, Secondary Heroes, 3 Beers and a Mic, the Movie Gap, the Dan Aykroyd podcast, the Burt Reynolds and Charles Bronson podcast, Front Row Negative, the Art of the Boar, and Bearing Ain't Easy. Lots of good content going on over at Cross the Streams Media. Also, if you are a listener, does a podcast and you're looking for a network to join, you should just contact any of the people on those. Or us. We'll get you in touch with the right people, and maybe you can join our network and be a part of that. And if you do, you have to tell them that Toy Rewind sent you if it's from listening to this, because we want to make sure that the right people know that we're here, we're part of this, and we're sending your stuff. While you're there, you can give us ratings and reviews, things that help us out over on Apple, that help us shoot to the top when people are looking for toy podcasts. And if you leave us a voicemail, we'll play it here on the podcast and answer your question. Or if you just want to say hi, feels fine to me. Just drop by, say hi. We'll say hi back. We'll even send you some stickers. We have lots of stickers. We like to give away stickers. And today's National Sticker Day. So
Today is National Sticker Day.
you know, it's the day. Yesterday was National Sticker Day. If you're listening to this on Friday, January 14th. So, all right,
you get a Stick'em star, Andrew.
Stick 'em stars.
Stick'em
All right.
star.
Anything else we want to add? We want to do over? Did I miss anything?
No, we got the GoBots over with. So
GoBots are done.
And that's a good
Also,
one.
if you have a toy line you want to hear us talk about, let us know. We'll be happy to add it to our list. All right. Well then, last chance. Nothing. Anything.
nah,
All right.
good. I'm good.
On behalf of the Brothers Newland here at the Toy Rewind podcast, play on.
You've been listening to the Toy Rewind podcast. Follow and join in the conversations at toyrewindpodcast.com.